Consider LED high bay fixtures for energy efficiency, good color rendering, and a long lifespan, typically over 50,000 hours. Choose fixtures with a wide beam angle. This will provide even illumination throughout the bay. Recommend multiple fixtures to ensure adequate coverage. The specific number will depend on the fixture's light output and the desired illumination level. Suggest fixtures with a fast restart time. This will ensure the lights come on quickly in case of a power outage. Recommend lumen output. For a bay with inadequate lighting, aim for a minimum of 100-foot candles on the work surface. Use an online calculator to determine the necessary lumen output. Check local building codes. There may be specific requirements for installing subpanels in commercial buildings. Verify the condition of the existing wiring. Ensure the wires are not damaged or overloaded. Upgrade the wiring if necessary. If the existing wiring is not rated for the subpanel's amperage, it may need to be upgraded. Install a subpanel with the appropriate amperage. The subpanel's amperage will depend on the electrical loads that will be connected to it. Cap off the third phase at the main and subpanel. This will ensure the system is balanced and safe. Use proper electrical connectors and torque all connections. This will prevent overheating and potential electrical hazards. Label the subpanel and circuit breakers clearly. This will make it easy to identify and troubleshoot any electrical issues in the future. Gather as much information as possible. Ask about the specific tasks performed in the bay and any special lighting requirements. Bring a lighting plan. This will show exactly where the fixtures will be installed and how they will illuminate the space. Provide a detailed estimate. Include the cost of materials, labor, and any permits that may be required. When selecting lighting for a commercial bay, firstly consider the advantages of LED high bay fixtures. LED are known for their energy efficiency, which can significantly reduce electricity costs over time. Secondly, they offer excellent color rendering, meaning they accurately display the colors of objects, which is crucial in many commercial settings. Thirdly, LED have a long lifespan, typically exceeding 50,000 hours, minimizing the need for frequent replacements and reducing maintenance costs. To achieve uniform illumination in the bay, it is important to choose fixtures with a wide beam angle. A wide beam angle ensures that light is distributed evenly across the space, eliminating dark spots and providing consistent brightness. The number of fixtures required depends on several factors. Firstly, the light output of each fixture, measured in lumens, is a key consideration. Secondly, the desired illumination level, typically measured in foot candles, must be determined based on the tasks performed in the bay. Thirdly, online calculators can be used to determine the optimal number of fixtures needed to achieve the desired illumination level. In the event of a power outage, it is important that the lights come back on quickly. Fixtures with a fast restart time ensure minimal disruption to operations and enhance safety. For a bay with inadequate lighting, a minimum of 100-foot candles on the work surface is generally recommended. This level of illumination is suitable for most commercial tasks, providing sufficient brightness for workers to perform their duties safely and efficiently. To determine the necessary lumen output, use an online calculator. These calculators take into account the size of the bay, the desired illumination level, and the characteristics of the chosen fixtures to provide an accurate estimate of the required lumen output. Before installing an electrical subpanel in a commercial building, firstly, check local building codes. These codes often have specific requirements for subpanel installations, including regulations related to wiring, grounding, and safety features. Secondly, ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes to avoid potential violations and ensure the safety of the building occupants. It is crucial to verify the condition of the existing wiring before connecting it to the subpanel. Inspect the wires for any signs of damage, such as cuts, abrasions, or corrosion. Additionally, check the wire size to ensure it is adequate for the intended load. If the existing wiring is not in good condition or is not properly sized, it may need to be upgraded to ensure safety and prevent electrical problems. If the existing wiring is not rated for the subpanel's amperage, it must be upgraded. Using wiring that is too small for the load can cause overheating, which can lead to fires. Consult the National Electrical Code, NEC, Table 310.15b16 for proper wire sizing based on amperage ratings. Install a sub-panel with the appropriate amperage to accommodate the electrical loads that will be connected to it. Calculate the total amperage of all the devices and equipment that will be powered by the sub-panel, and choose a sub-panel with a higher amperage rating to provide a safety margin. When converting from a three-phase system to a single-phase system, cap off the third phase at both the main panel and the sub-panel. This ensures that the system is balanced and safe, preventing potential electrical hazards. Use proper electrical connectors and torque all connections to the manufacturer's specifications. Loose connections can cause overheating, which can lead to fires. Torquing connections to the proper specifications ensures a secure and reliable electrical connection. Label the sub-panel and circuit breakers clearly to make it easy to identify and troubleshoot any electrical issues in the future. Use a permanent marker or label maker to create clear and concise labels that indicate the purpose of each circuit breaker. Before starting the job, gather as much information as possible about the specific tasks performed in the bay and any special lighting requirements. This will help you choose the right lighting and electrical equipment for the job. Bring a lighting plan to the meeting to show the customer exactly where the fixtures will be installed and how they will illuminate the space. This will help the customer visualize the finished product and make informed decisions. Provide a detailed estimate that includes the cost of materials, labor, and any permits that may be required. Be transparent about your pricing and explain any potential additional costs that may arise during the project. To elaborate on LED high bay fixtures, these are specifically designed for illuminating large spaces with high ceilings, like the described commercial bay. Their design focuses on efficiently directing light downwards, maximizing the amount of usable light reaching the floor. This is achieved through a combination of lens and reflector technologies that minimize light scattering and focus the beam where it's needed most. When it comes to energy efficiency, LED convert a significantly higher percentage of electricity into light compared to traditional lighting technologies like fluorescent or metal halide lamps. This means less energy is wasted as heat, resulting in lower electricity bills and a reduced carbon footprint. The long lifespan of LED is another major advantage, with many fixtures rated for 50,000 hours or more. This translates to years of reliable operation with minimal maintenance, saving time and money on bulb replacements and labor costs. Furthermore, the excellent color rendering of LED ensures that objects are displayed accurately and naturally. This is particularly important in commercial settings where visual tasks require precise color perception. Now, regarding the wide beam angle, this is crucial for achieving even illumination across the entire bay. A wide beam angle allows the light to spread out over a larger area, minimizing shadows and dark spots. The specific beam angle required will depend on the height of the ceiling and the size of the bay, but in general, a wider beam angle is preferred for maximizing uniformity. The number of fixtures needed to achieve adequate coverage depends on several factors, including the light output of each fixture, the height of the ceiling, the size of the bay, and the desired illumination level. Online calculators are a valuable tool for determining the optimal number of fixtures, as they take into account all of these variables to provide an accurate estimate. These calculators typically require you to input the dimensions of the space, the desired foot candle level, and the specifications of the chosen fixtures. They then use these inputs to calculate the total lumen output required and the number of fixtures needed to achieve that output. As for the fast restart time, this feature is especially important in areas where power outages are common. Fixtures with a fast restart time come back on almost instantly after a power interruption, minimizing disruption and ensuring that the space remains safe and usable. In contrast, traditional lighting technologies like metal halide lamps can take several minutes to restart after a power outage, which can be a significant inconvenience. To achieve a minimum of 100-foot candles on the work surface, you must consider the specific tasks performed in the bay. Some tasks may require higher levels of illumination, while others may be fine with less. Using an online calculator allows you to fine-tune your lighting design and ensure that you are providing the appropriate amount of light for the intended use. In addition to the specific recommendations above, here are some additional tips for designing and installing lighting in a commercial bay. Firstly, consider the color temperature of the light. Color temperature is measured in Kelvin and refers to the warmth or coolness of the light. Warmer color temperatures around 2700 to 3000 Kelvin create a cozy and inviting atmosphere, while cooler color temperatures around 4000 to 5000 Kelvin provide a more energizing and focused environment. Secondly, choose a color temperature that is appropriate for the tasks performed in the bay. Consider the control options for the lighting system. There are many different control options available, including dimming controls, occupancy sensors, and daylight harvesting systems. Dimming controls allow you to adjust the brightness of the lights to suit the needs of the space, while occupancy sensors automatically turn the lights on and off when someone enters or leaves the room. Daylight harvesting systems use sensors to detect the amount of natural light available and adjust the artificial lighting accordingly. Ensure that the lighting system complies with all applicable codes and regulations. There are many different codes and regulations that govern lighting design and installation, including energy codes, safety codes, and accessibility codes. It is important to be familiar with these codes and regulations and to ensure that your lighting system complies with them. Now let's move on to the electrical subpanel installation. Subpanels are used to distribute electrical power to different parts of a building. They are typically installed when the main panel is full or when it is necessary to provide separate circuits for specific equipment or areas. Before installing a subpanel, it is important to check local building codes to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable requirements. These codes may specify the type of wiring that can be used, the size of the conduit, the grounding requirements, and the location of the subpanel. When verifying the condition of the existing wiring, look for any signs of damage, such as cracks, cuts, or corrosion. Also, check the insulation to make sure it is not brittle or damaged. If the wiring is damaged, it should be replaced before installing the subpanel. If the existing wiring is not rated for the subpanel's amperage, it will need to be upgraded. The size of the wiring is determined by the amperage rating of the circuit. Consult the NEC for the appropriate wire size for the amperage rating. The NEC provides tables that specify the ampacity of different types of wire based on their size and insulation type. When installing a subpanel, it is important to choose one with the appropriate amperage rating for the loads that will be connected to it. The amperage rating of the subpanel should be equal to or greater than the sum of the amperage ratings of all the circuits that will be connected to it. When capping off the third phase at the main and subpanel, it is important to do so safely and correctly. Firstly, disconnect the power to the circuit before working on it. Secondly, use a properly insulated wire connector to cap off the end of the wire. Thirdly, secure the connector with electrical tape to prevent it from coming loose. When making electrical connections, use proper electrical connectors and torque all connections to the manufacturer's specifications. This will ensure a secure and reliable connection that will not overheat or cause a fire. Use a torque wrench to tighten the connections to the specified torque. This will ensure that the connections are tight enough to make good contact, but not so tight that they damage the wires or connectors. After installing the subpanel, label it and all of the circuit breakers clearly. This will make it easy to identify and troubleshoot any electrical problems in the future. Use a label maker to create clear and concise labels that indicate the purpose of each circuit breaker. In addition to the specific recommendations above, here are some additional tips for installing an electrical subpanel. Firstly, obtain all necessary permits before starting the work. Many jurisdictions require permits for electrical work, including the installation of subpanels. Secondly, contact your local building department to find out what permits are required and how to obtain them. Before starting the work, disconnect the power to the circuit. This is essential for your safety and will prevent electrical shock. Use a voltmeter to verify that the power is off before touching any wires. Wear appropriate safety gear such as gloves and eye protection. This will protect you from electrical shock and other hazards. Follow all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical work is subject to many different codes and regulations, including the NEC and local building codes. It is important to be familiar with these codes and regulations and to follow them carefully. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work, hire a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to hire someone who is qualified to do the work safely and correctly. Gathering as much information as possible about the specific tasks performed in a bay will help you choose the right lighting and electrical equipment for the job. Talk to the customer about their needs and requirements and ask them to provide you with any relevant information, such as equipment specifications and operating schedules. Bringing a lighting plan to the meeting will help the customer visualize the finished product and make informed decisions. The lighting plan should show the location of all the fixtures, the type of fixtures, the light output of the fixtures, and the desired illumination level. Providing a detailed estimate will help the customer understand the costs involved in the project and make an informed decision. The estimate should include the cost of all materials, labor, permits, and other expenses. When you are on site, firstly, identify the location of the existing receptacle in the bay to understand the current power setup. Secondly, locate the main panel board to assess the available capacity and determine the feasibility of adding a sub-panel. Thirdly, thoroughly inspect the existing wiring associated with the three-phase 360 amp contraption to evaluate its condition and suitability for reuse. Fourthly, obtain detailed information about the specific temperature requirements for the bay to ensure the selected lighting system can withstand the environmental conditions. When recommending lighting solutions, firstly, consider the 15-foot clearance requirement to ensure the fixtures do not obstruct the workspace. Secondly, prioritize LED high bay fixtures for their energy efficiency, long lifespan, and ability to provide instant-on illumination. Thirdly, select fixtures with appropriate lumen output and beam angle to achieve the desired illumination level throughout the bay. To address the sub-panel installation, firstly, verify the existing wire gauge and insulation type to ensure it meets the amperage requirements of the new sub-panel. Secondly, consult with a qualified electrician to determine the appropriate size and type of sub-panel for the intended electrical loads. Thirdly, ensure the sub-panel is properly grounded and bonded to comply with electrical codes and safety standards. When capping off the third phase, firstly, use appropriate wire connectors and insulation to prevent electrical hazards. Secondly, clearly label the capped-off wire to indicate it is not in use. Thirdly, document the changes made to the electrical system for future reference. Furthermore, always consult with a licensed electrical engineer or inspector to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Consider the long-term maintenance requirements of the lighting system, including bulb replacement and cleaning schedules. Obtain detailed specifications for the recommended lighting fixtures, including lumen output, color, temperature, and energy consumption. Evaluate the structural integrity of the ceiling to ensure it can support the weight of the new lighting fixtures and sub-panel. Provide the customer with options for lighting control systems, such as dimming and occupancy sensors, to optimize energy efficiency and user comfort.